All right, so we're diving deep today, folks, into building a brand, a personal brand that really pops,
Mm.
And you guys sent in some great stuff from Brian Tracy. So we're going to sift through it, find those golden nuggets, and especially, I think, those 8 laws of branding he talks about. It's like having a cheat sheet to become unforgettable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In this day and age,
Yeah,
everyone's trying to get noticed,
half.
right? So having a strong personal brand, it's like, it can really make all the difference.
Totally. Okay, so let's break it down. These 8 laws. First one, the law of specialization.
You know what I find interesting about this one? It kind of goes against what we usually hear. Like everyone's always saying, be well-rounded, have lots of skills. But with specialization, it's like you zoom in on that one thing, that thing you're amazing at, you become the person for that.
Right. Like Brian Tracy talks about that real estate agent, right? The
Hmm.
one who only presents offers. And get this, other agents hire her to do it because she's that good.
Yeah. It really makes you think, what if instead of trying to do it all, you just focused on being the absolute best at that one thing? So what could you specialize in?
Yeah, love that. Makes you really think about what you're good at. Okay, so next up, the law of leadership. Now, before you think, oh, gotta be the CEO or something, that's not what Brian Tracy means.
Nope. It's more about thought leadership, really. Like you become the expert in whatever you've chosen to focus on. So people, they just naturally come to you for advice and all that. It's all about like, building that credibility.
Okay, and now this is where it gets really interesting. The law of personality.
Authenticity. That's what Brian Tracy's talking about here. Being yourself, letting
Uh-huh.
your true self shine through, even the flaws and stuff. His research, you know what it shows? People, they actually connect more with folks who seem genuine, like, nice.
That makes total sense, right?
Ugh.
Nobody wants a phony. Remember that story about the salesman? The one who shook hands with his left hand trying to be all memorable and stuff?
Oh yeah, what a mess. People just thought it was like weird and fake.
Yeah.
So it really shows how important it is to just be comfortable being you. Let that natural personality out.
Exactly. So what are your best traits? The things that make you likable.
Right.
Don't try to be someone you're not, right? Just like turn up the volume on those good qualities.
Yeah, that's it. And that brings us to the law of distinctiveness. It's all about finding that one thing, that thing that makes you different, that people will remember you by.
Like it could be something simple, a handwritten note,
Yeah.
or a little gift every time you interact with someone.
Or it could even be like built into what you do, right? Like that real estate agent with the offers. That's distinctive. People remember that.
Totally. So what's your thing? What's that, what do you call it? The dried flower that you add? Something to make you stand out. Think about that for a second.
Okay, now visibility. The law of visibility. This one reminds us it's not enough to just be good, right? You got to be seen, heard by the right people, I mean.
Brian Tracy tells this kind of scary story about a speaker who just disappeared for a year, went off the grid completely, and like poof, all his momentum gone.
Ooh, that's rough. And it shows, if you're not around, people forget about you.
Yeah. So think about it. Are you showing up in the right places
Hmm?
where your people hang out?
Uh,
Online events, whatever it is.
that's it. All right, now, consistency. This is a big one. The law of utility.
This means basically making sure your private self and your public image, they match up.
Mm-hmm.
What you do when no one's looking, it should be the same as the brand you're putting out there, right?
Yeah. Brian Tracy makes this really clear with his example of Leona Helmsley, Queen of Mean, they called her. She was known for being horrible to her staff. And then you have like Generals Powell and Schwarzkopf, who were famous for treating everyone with respect no matter who they are.
Right. It shows how your actions speak so loud. People are watching, and what you do, it can build your brand or it can totally trash it.
So true. Being genuine, consistent, it's everything. Because if there's this big difference between who you are and how you're acting, people will see it eventually.
Okay, next up, the law of persistence. Simple, but super important. Building a brand, it takes time. You got to keep at it.
It's like working out, You're not going to get ripped overnight. It takes dedication. Same with your brand. You got to be consistent. Keep showing up. Keep refining your message. Just, keep going.
And finally, the law of goodwill. This is about being seen as a good person, right? Living those positive values.
Yeah, think about what you want to be known for. Honesty, integrity, kindness. Those values, they should guide everything you do. Personal life, work life, the whole thing.
It's about building a brand that's not just about you, but about like making a difference in the world.
Yeah.
So what values do you want people to associate with your brand? What legacy do you want to leave?
Right. Okay, so we went through those 8 laws of branding. But Brian Tracy he doesn't stop there. He talks a lot about personal image and how that plays a big part in branding too, which, is interesting.
Yeah. He even brings up that old IBM dress code. You know, everyone in the dark suits and white shirts, all that. They knew their salespeople were the face of the company. And how they looked, it affected how people saw IBM. Crazy, right?
It is. Like, just the way you dress can have such a big impact. And remember that story Brian Tracy told about the salesman who lost a deal to IBM, even though his product was better. Later, he met the IBM guy, and he realized he just looked totally unprofessional next to him. Like, it was a huge wake-up call.
Yeah, it's like first impressions, they really matter. People, they judge based on what they see. So how you look, it can either help your brand or it can hurt it.
It all comes down to presenting your best self, right?
Yeah.
Making sure how you look matches your brand and your goals. It's not about being fake. It's about making choices that show who you are, where you're going.
Brian Tracy gives some good advice on this, right? He says to look at those who are already killing it in your field. See how they dress. And if you need help, maybe even get an image consultant.
Right. It's not about being vain or anything. It's about understanding how you come across to others, making sure your image is working for you, not against you.
So take a good look in the mirror and ask yourself, do I look like the successful person I want to be? Think about what changes you could make so that how you look helps you get where you want to go.
Okay, but it's not just about how you look, right? It's also about how you act. Your behavior, it can be just as important for your brand as your clothes or whatever.
Totally. Brian Tracy's big on punctuality, reliability, being prompt. Those little things, they make a huge difference in how people see you.
Being on time, it shows you respect people's time. Being reliable means doing what you say you're going to do, which builds trust. And being prompt, like responding quickly when someone needs something, it shows you care, you're paying attention.
He even says, maybe the best thing you can do for your brand is to be known as someone who puts their customers first and, jumps into action when they need something.
It's about going above and beyond, exceeding expectations, making sure everyone you interact with, they have a good experience.
So all of that, how you look, how you act, it all builds a brand. And it's a brand that's not just about you. It's about how you treat others, how you serve them. But at the end of the day, all of that, it doesn't mean much if the work itself isn't good.
Exactly. It's got to be high quality. Your work, it's the foundation.
Brian Tracy uses this awesome analogy. He says, if you want to build a great personal brand, then you must become obsessed with doing your work better than anyone else.
It's a good point. Yeah, you can have a fancy logo and website and all that. But if the work you're doing is bad, that's what people will remember.
Your work, it's like your business card, but way more important. So Brian Tracy's encouraging us to always be trying to get better, right? He asks this thought-provoking question, what's my next miracle? It's like a challenge to step up our game, do even better than we did before.
Yeah. And he's all about getting feedback from your customers, asking them, how can I improve my service next time? Which is smart. It shows you're serious about doing great work and always trying to improve.
So building a personal brand, it has a lot of pieces to it,
Yeah.
right? But I think it really comes down to being real, being consistent, and, just doing great work.
Yeah, it's about creating a brand that reflects who you are, what you believe in, and the positive impact you want to make on the world. And you know what? Something Brian Tracy talks about is how your brand, it can evolve. It's not stuck in one place forever.
Oh, that's interesting. So as we grow, our brand should grow too, you mean?
Yeah. He calls it repositioning your brand. And he gives this example, right? This real estate agent, she was selling homes for $150,000, but she wanted to move up to that, $300,000, $350,000 market, the higher end stuff.
So how did she do it? I mean, just saying, hey, I sell more expensive houses now. It's not enough, right?
Right. So she made some changes, strategic changes. She moved to a fancier neighborhood, got herself a Mercedes, traded in her old car, and she even started wearing St. John's knits. That brand, it kind of signaled, I'm successful, I'm sophisticated to those higher end clients.
Wow. Yeah, those little things, they really make a difference, huh? Reminds me of that story Brian Tracy told about meeting Dear Abby on a plane, and she was wearing a St. John's knit too.
Yeah. And what's interesting about that? It wasn't like she was being fake. For Dear Abby, her style, it was just a part of her brand, She was still that same warm, insightful person in her columns. But how she dressed, it just matched her success, her expertise.
That's a great example.
Yeah.
You can dress the part without being a phony. It's more about making choices that show, where you want to go, who you want to be.
Exactly. It's like presenting the best version of yourself in a way that's still true to who you are.
Brian Tracy also talks about getting advice from those who are already successful, right? Like, don't try to figure everything out yourself. Learn from those who have done it already.
He told a story about this top salesman, right? Early in his career, this guy was struggling. He realized, like, I don't really look the part. So he started watching the other guys, the ones who were doing great, how they dressed, how they groomed themselves, even how they worked.
What happened? Did it work?
In like 3 years, he was winning national awards. It shows you, right? Observing others getting mentorship, it can really help you get ahead faster.
So find those mentors, the people who inspire you. Study them. And don't be afraid to ask for advice. It can save you a ton of time and trouble.
Speaking of advice, you've given some great stuff today. If you had to pick one thing for our listener to remember about personal branding, what would it be?
Ooh, that's tough. But I think it really comes down to this. Bring your best self forward. Don't try to be someone you're not. Just figure out what your strengths are, your values, your goals, and then show that to the world. Be that person authentically.
That's perfect. Okay, so as we wrap up this deep dive into personal branding with Brian Tracy, let's go back to that question he asked, that really thought-provoking one. Imagine, like, someone is studying your personal brand 3 years from now. What's that one word you want them to use to describe you?
Yeah, that one really makes you think. It's not just about the surface stuff, right? Like your clothes or website. It's deeper. It's about, like, who you are at your core, the legacy you want to leave.
It's about the impact you want to have on the world. So think about it. What's that one word that captures that? And then let that word guide you as you build your brand.
Yeah, it's about creating a brand that, shows who you are now, but it should also, like, push you to be even better in the future.
Yeah. And that brings us back to what Brian Tracy was saying about, like, the work itself, right? It's the most important thing. Everything else builds on that.
It's easy to get caught up in all the looks of it, right? The logo, the website, social media.
Yeah.
But if the work isn't good, none of that matters.
He makes a really good point. He says, if you want to build a great personal brand, you got to be obsessed with doing your work better than anyone else.
Like, at the end of the day, the work you do, that's what people will remember. That's what makes you stand out.
Brian Tracy, he's always pushing us to, like, aim higher, He asks, what's my next miracle? It's like he's challenging us to, push our limits, always be getting better.
And he talks about how important it is to really focus on your customers, to always be asking, how can I improve my service next time? It shows you care, and you're always trying to exceed expectations.
It's about making your brand about, like, helping others, not just yourself, leaving a positive mark on the world through what you do.
So we've learned a lot from Brian Tracy about personal branding, but I want to leave you with that one question he asked, the one that really makes you think. Imagine 3 years from now, someone is studying your personal brand. What's that one word you'd want them to use to describe you?
It's a powerful question, right? Because that one word, it becomes your guide. It sums up who you are, what you want to be known for. It helps you make decisions, take actions as you build your brand and make your mark.
It's definitely something to think about. So write down that word and let it be your guiding principle as you start building your own brand.
Remember, you can create a brand that's not just successful, but also something you're proud of, something fulfilling. So go for it. Be yourself and never stop learning and growing.
And that's a wrap on our deep dive into personal branding with Brian Tracy. Hope you got a ton out of it.
Now go out there and show the world what you're made of.